Back now on Base Sunday, our next guest is a licensed marriage and family therapist who also is the founder of the Relationship Counseling Center. He has conducted workshops, has helped hundreds of couples work out their relationships, and he is here today to share all of his secrets on what makes the perfect relationship work. A big welcome to Sevin Phillips. How are you?
Good to see you.
Are you busy?
Very much so.
I bet. With the economy and everything all the stuff that's floating around, people need a little bit of help out
Yeah,
right now, don't
probably
they?
always do.
Yeah. What is the most common complaint when you see a husband and wife come in and sit down with you and say, what?
I think mostly it's people are fighting and are kind of stuck and they don't know how to get out of it. A lot of it's not very large stuff. It feels like on the surface as the daily stuff of fighting over the dishes or fighting over this. But what I think couples counseling really helps people do is get in touch with what's really going on. Because I think most of us didn't get the handbook. You know, our parents didn't hand it to us saying, here.
Is there really one, though?
No, I don't think there is.
I'm not sure my parents would want to write a handbook, but...
How do I do a relationship? And, what's a way to do it successfully or as best we can? I mean, perfection probably isn't achievable, but there's a lot of skills I think we don't get when we're growing up that we kind of need.
Yeah, it takes time, doesn't it? A good marriage kind of evolves.
It's like a good wine, it takes some aging and it takes some skill and it takes some sticking to it as well.
Now, sex, money, are those kind of the top two things that people kind of argue about?
Absolutely. I mean, the classic ones, sex, money, and then just general disharmony or fighting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the economy, I mean, I have seen a lot of people coming in with extra stress, and sometimes they just need a third party to be outside and be able to see things a little bit differently than they can. And really, we don't tell people what to do, but we help them figure out what's really going on, because sometimes we just can't see it.
And do you see same-sex couples as well here
Absolutely.
in the Bay Area as well?
Yeah, we are a queer-friendly therapy institute.
And do they have the same issues that, male and female couples have as well?
Absolutely.
Same stuff,
Yeah,
huh?
We're all just people, and we really get stuck
See,
in
I always
the
thought it because we're wired differently, but it's just, you put two people together, eventually they're either going to, make love or fight each other.
We get stuck in the same ways. We want to be loved, we want to be respected, we want to be appreciated, and all these things, and especially in a long-term relationship, get kind of stuck. We take each other for granted, which is probably one of the biggest ways people get stuck.
Right. Who is willing to change the most? Is it the male, the female? And who is more receptive to, we need some help, let's go talk to Sevin?
It's interesting. I do get more calls from the women in the relationship, but once you get the guys in there,
they open up
like
no
a book.
Tomorrow.
And maybe it's because I'm a male therapist and they feel comfortable. But I really think guys are really the same as women, essentially, but they sometimes need a little extra permission to kind of open up. But I mean, they're suffering along with the woman in the same relationship in the same ways.
Well, what's the best piece of advice you give a couple that's, been married 10 years, they're probably got a couple of kids and trying to make ends meet, and things start to get a little edgy, and you say to them, take a deep breath, spend some time together?
A little more than that.
Go on vacation?
I would say all those things are great, but the one I said about taking each other for granted is probably one of the biggest ones for long-term relationships. You think about it, you have kids, you work, and oftentimes when we get in a marriage, we believe that nothing's going to change. We're here for the long haul. And what we start doing, just like a plant, we stop watering our plant because we think we're going to be there and we're going to be strong. But everything needs to be watered. Everything needs to be nourished. And so what I would tell those couples is take the time once a week to appreciate your wife, your husband, your partner, and just do it. The simplest things.
Just a little stroke.
All the time.
Yeah.
And also take the time to spend time together. Because I know when we get busy in the daily life with kids, we put aside our romantic relationship, but that thing needs to be kindled just as much.
So true. I think, excuse me, when you're young, you just want attention. When you're old, you just want someone's time. And when you get older, and somewhere in between, you're too busy to do both. And that time thing is so important because you get home from work, hi, honey, how you doing? I'm going to do this. You take care of the kids, and voila. It's like, give me a half an hour. Let's sit down. Let's connect.
Yeah, not only that, but I think sometimes we have to really take the time to also go out for dinner and take vacations and spend time to have a lot of fun, because sometimes we're doing such stressful events, we forget how to have fun.
Well, when's it time to get help? How do you know you need help? When you're ready to go at each other, or and some people think it's a sign of failure. It's like, oh my God, we got to go see a therapist. What's the deal?
It's the number one myth why people don't come, I believe. They come in and they say like, oh, it means that something's really wrong. And I think essentially your relationship doesn't have to be in crisis to come in. If you think about it, if you're stuck, and this is one of the things to answer your question, if you're stuck in a relationship, if something keeps happening over and over again and it doesn't go away, and with the best skills that you have, you aren't able to work it out, you need to come on in because you don't want that to happen too long. Too much water under the bridge makes it difficult, right? So sometimes like you're parallel parking and you're inside a car and there's a blind spot and you can't see the tree that you're trying to park. A good therapist really just is outside the car and can say, hey, there's a tree right there.
In the wrong
You're gonna
direction,
hit it.
pal.
So I won't ever tell you anything you probably don't know. But sometimes I could really relieve and see things clearly to help you move out of it.
And in about 10 or 15 seconds, okay to have your own time. Your marriage it's part of your life. It's not your whole life. You got to do some other things too, right?
Yeah. Balance is one thing I think people always don't do that well. And I mean, having your own personal friendships outside of the marriage. You ever have this happen with single people? Or like, whatever happened to our friend? They're gone. They're in a relationship. Right. Well, it's really important to keep not only our bodies and working out, but like our friendships and our family time, and really balance it out to be happy, because that outside energy you bring back into the marriage.
All right, and I'll book an appointment right now while we're talking here.
You got it. I got
Tuesday.
my phone out.
We all could use a little help and a little bit of hope too. Sevin, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. If you'd like more information on Sevin and the Relationship Counseling Center, please visit relationshipcounselingcenter.org, all one long word. Stay tuned. More Bay Sunday coming up. When we come back, stay right there.